thing I want to do is address something that I forgot to mention. I mentioned how to configure your taskbar in Control Panel and other such menus, but I didn't show you how to add and remove things on the taskbar. So you see, you've got the things that can be closed and they sit here waiting for you to just click them and they're ready to roll. But you can also change that. Right click and you can choose to pin to the taskbar, and then something that is already pinned, you can unpin it. Just a simple right click and select the option. Not sure how that would be different on a Mac, but that's how it works for Windows users. And that's obviously just makes for really quick access to your programs that you use on a regular basis. And like I said, I just wanted to cover that really quickly before we get started on today's material. This is going to be another Word tutorial type lecture. This week, your project is going to involve a business letter. So we're going to go over some common components of that. And this is going to be a bit more advanced than the last two that we've done, partly because we're going to be dealing with elements that could be floated around and on top of each other, and other more intricate graphics like smart art. So going to try to get through all of these, but version differences between what this PowerPoint refers to and the latest version of Office 365 may make that a little difficult. I ran into a few roadblocks. I'm going to try to help you to avoid them yourself. So let's dive straight in. So the first thing we want to do is create a letterhead. And that's going to involve a few different steps. We've got 17 steps here. First thing we're going to cover is inserting a shape that you'll find on the Insert tab. There's a shape button. So let's go straight to that. So, insert. And right here, just below layout, you'll see shapes. And you're given a number of options here in the shape gallery. Let's go with rectangles. We select this one here. And we want to place our new cursor. It should turn into this crosshair approximately where you want it to begin. So you click and hold and drag your mouse to wherever you want it to go. I don't want it to go that far. Whoa. And when you're happy with where it is, just release your mouse and here is your shape. So remember to start at the top left of where you want your shape and drag down to the bottom right. And here's just a slide showing off exactly what you're looking for. This is a different version of Word from what I'm using. So if you're using an older version, yours may look like this instead. To change an object's position, you want to select the shape and click on the position button to display the position gallery. So let's head back into Word and click to select this. It's going to move us to this tab here. And we select position, and we have a few different options. If you have it as inline, you can see it just kind of sits there. Text can go over it or under it. And it's just sat there stamped onto your page. You can also wrap text around. You can have text on the sides of it. You can have it go more precisely, or we have several options. For our purposes, we're just going to say position the top left, like that. And so if you start typing, you see it goes around it. To change its text wrapping, we still have the shape selected. Click the Layout Options button attached to the object to display the Layout Options gallery. Let's do that. When we click this, we have this here. And this is similar. We can position it so that things wrap around it. Normally, we can have it wrap around a square fashion. It can be tight, which is, as you can see, it conforms to the exact shape, but it's still only the outer edge of the shape. Inner edges, if you want your text to go around those, then you would use the through option. You can have things only be above or below it. You can place your shape behind everything or in front of everything. Let's put our text behind it. We've made our selection. We close. Let's come over here and we see that where I typed my name, it was wrapped around. Now it's sat inside of our shape. And this is one way that you can make a somewhat more decorative heading. Applying a shape style, select the shapes and click the More button in the Shape Styles gallery to expand the gallery and select the one you want. We're going to click this and head back in here. We've got our styles here, and at some point in your lab, you may be asked to do this, and here is your list of available options. And there are a lot of them, so just pay attention to what your instructions say. Let's just go with this one. That looks nice. For the purposes of this, I'm not exactly worried about what exactly we're selecting, just something. Changing the shape outline. What we want to do is click the shape outline arrow to display the outline gallery and pick the one we want. So we're still in here. Now to find it. Shape outline. And this is just your color palette. You can select whatever you like, as you would with your text color. So let's go with a blue. And you can see, let me click off of it. You can just see that blue outline. Applying a shape effect. We want to, it's in the same general area. Make sure we're still clicked on this, and we come in here and just below it, effect. And you have things like shadows, reflections, glow. Let's go with a shadow on the bottom right of our shape. All really simple stuff. So let's not dwell on it too long and move straight on. Adding text to a shape, you can right-click the shape to display the mini toolbar and or shortcut menu. Click Add Text on the shortcut menu to place an insertion point in the shape, and then type the desired text. We have somewhat already done that, but just for the sake of demonstration and to make this look a little cleaner, what we're going to do is we're going to right-click, Add Text, and let's, I can find my insertion point. I'm just going to put my name again, and it centers it for you. Oh, it just took me a second to spot it. And of course, while you're doing this, you're back in the Home tab, so you can set the spacing and other such things for the text itself. Let's come over here to see if there are any other steps. No, that's it for that. And so it is better that you use the add text or edit text for your shape. Otherwise, like you saw, it's very easy for your text to just kind of drift off the edges, especially if you're adding things like borders and other such shading. And it may not be ideal to place a to just like manually move your shape around. So just use the add text. Increasing the increase font size button, bolding selected text. This is all stuff we probably could have covered previously because it's all in the Home tab. If you want to increase your font size, this button increases it, this button decreases it. So let me select this whole line of text here. And let's say we want 16-point font. And we also want it to be bold. When you're doing your own work in the future and you're not having to follow Sam's exact guidelines, bold, you could just hold Control and press B. You can see the shortcut key here just by hovering your mouse over the button. Italic is Control I, and underline is Control U. And of course, the PowerPoint tells us to save the letterhead. We're not going to worry about that right now. To insert an online picture, Word has an interface where you can go in, search up a type of image that you might want to put into your document, and just add it in directly. So what you want to do is position the insertion point where you want to insert the image and display the Insert tab. That's where we're going to find it. So let's move down outside of our image. And because our shape is up here, let's give a few spaces just to give some clearance. Insert. Now, in some versions of Word, there's an online picture button. Mine does not have that. So what you want to do in that case is go to the Pictures option. And down here, the last option is online pictures, and we want to find something. Let's just type in a random word like clouds. Press enter, and it will bring up a selection of options for you. We're just going to go with this first one here. Click it, you'll see a check mark appear at the top right. You can select multiple pictures if you'd like. But for our purposes, we're just going to select the one, come down here, and we have the insert and the number that you have selected in this button here. Click that, and it will just drop your picture in, and also give you this little bit of licensing information. It's by an unknown author. It's under Creative Commons. That's what the CC means. And so that's how you insert your online images. Here's all of the steps for that. To resize the picture to a % of the original size, with the picture selected, click on the Size dialog box launcher to display the size sheet in the Layout dialog box. This is one that gave me some difficulty. So let's go to image format. I don't know why I right-clicked. I had to do that as a backup while I was still trying to figure it out. So let's see if we can find it in here. We skip the image styles. No, we don't want borders or effects. We don't want alt text yet. Position, wrap text. Yeah, so as you can see, I don't have that. But what you can do.
Could it be in that little you know how you click that little arrow in the styles thing? Could it be in that?
You're talking about this here?
Yeah. Like if you go up to the size thing in the tab or whatever, that little arrow.
Hmm.
You know what I'm talking about? To the right.
To the right. I'm trying to understand which one you're talking about.
Go. All right. The size right here. The box.
Oh, these.
Yes. Could it be
Uh,
that little arrow in the bottom right corner?
oh. Let's see what that is. Advanced layouts. Hey, good eye. I completely never remember that those are there. But yeah, that's how you'd get to it. Good pointing that out. So say you wanted it 50%. Whoops, too far to the right. 50. And press tab to go from height to width, and there's 50% there. The reason why this changed automatically is because we have the checkbox that says lock aspect ratio. We have that checked. And what aspect ratio is the portion of, or the ratio of pixels in width and height. So we talked about screen resolution before. 1920 by 1080 is what I use, and that is a 16 by 9 aspect ratio. So for every 16 pixels wide something is, it's 9 pixels high. And so when your aspect ratio is locked, you adjust one of these dimensions and the other will change accordingly. So we're going to, instead of 50%, let's say 75. Tab over, and that automatically completes for us. And when we're done, we just press OK, and the picture has shrunk. The image insertion box, you notice, has not changed. If you try to resize it by clicking and dragging these, it will resize the picture further, and it will just look ugly. So I personally don't use scale in my own work, but you may have to for the SAM projects. To change the color of a picture, you have some minor image editing options. So what we want to do is make sure we've got that clicked. And we come here and we have color. And you have a few options of things that might look better. Say, okay, we don't want this like late morning looking sky. We want an evening sky. Well, we find something that fits that, and let's just go with this orangish colored look. And so that's how you select your colors. And to adjust brightness and contrast, you want to use the corrections button, which is not far to the left of where you saw colors. This little sun icon here is corrections. You can adjust the sharpness of the image here, and then brightness and contrast. You can see we're right here, but let's say we want something just a little bit darker, just a smidge. So we go here, and we click that, and we have lowered the brightness just a touch. Come on, taskbar, thank you. To add a picture border, this is very similar to the shape border that we had before. So we click that, make sure we have the image selected so that we can be in this tab in the first place. Go to border and we select our color. The image is predominantly orange, so we want a border that stands out. So let's go with a dark blue. And you can kind of see it there. You can probably see it a lot better than I can. So to change an object's text wrapping, we want to click the picture to select it. We've already done that. Click the layout options button and click in front of text in the layout gallery so that you can position the object on top of any item in the document. And then we click the close button. So this one kind of tripped me up for a second too. So let's see. What I ended up having to do is just come here to wrap text. This works too. you have the option. Well, no, I've got to click the whole thing, not just the picture. I've got to have all of that selected. So we can now choose in front of text. This is what I ended up having to do. Or you have this here. This also works. This, I think, is... Let me reread that and make sure I'm not crazy. I don't know why some of these have given me trouble. Yeah, the layout options button, the little horseshoe thing at the top right. At least that's what I think of it as, is a horseshoe. I know it isn't one. So those are two ways to get into it. You're probably going to have to choose the button that's attached to the side of it. Just remember to select the whole image pane, not the image itself. Moving on to moving an object. This is as simple as clicking on it and moving it around. So I'm not going to keep these changes. I'm going to undo them after I'm done. So yeah, you could just click, drag, and just see where it goes. And when you're happy with where it is, you just drop it down. I'm going to press Control Z to reverse that change. To copy an object, we select the picture, display the Home tab, and click the Copy button. Just really quickly, I'm not going to spend too much time on copying and pasting. It's right here. You can, once you've selected the thing you want to do, you want to cut or copy, you could then just press these buttons, or you can use Control C for copy and Control X to cut. And when you paste, you just click this and you have a few options here that you could use. Usually it'll just be one of the things that's displayed here. All we have right now is text only, but it could be merge formatting, keep source formatting. It could be copying just the image and things like that. Which ones appear is going to depend on what you have in your clipboard, which, if you recall, is what the holding place for copied data, that's what we call it. We call it the clipboard. To flip an object with the picture selected, click the Rotate Objects button to display the Rotate Object gallery, and then click the desired rotation option. So I want to come in here, this, and all the way over here, the last option before the close button is rotate. You can go 90 degrees clockwise or counterclockwise. You can also flip horizontally or vertically. And as you'd expect, these just mirror the image in that direction. So let's just say we want to flip it horizontally. Not a majorly noticeable difference because it's just clouds, but you get the point, I'm sure. Inserting a symbol from your symbols gallery. This is going to be on the Insert tab. And this is where you're going to go. This is where you're going to insert things if, say, you don't have... let me find my insertion point. Oh, it's put me up above, it seems. Where am I? Oh, I see it now. All right, so let's use this empty space that's created. And we're going to go to Insert. And all the way on the right, you'll see Symbols. And you have a bunch of options that list here. This includes some of the recent ones that you've used, as well as some common choices. You've got the lambda. You've got what I think is the euro symbol, the British pound. I think that's the Chinese or Japanese currency symbol. Copyright, registered trademark, plus or minus. Just a whole bunch of these. These are common ones that I've used in my own work. But if nothing that you want is appearing in here, you can go to More Symbols and navigate all of this. You have some search features here to help you. You've got a normal text option, and we can come here. We have our font choices. And then the type that you want, you can have IPA extensions. You get the idea. This is pretty much your entire set of Unicode characters that is made available to you through Word. So you select the one that you want. I'm actually going to cancel out of this and just insert one from mine. Let's just insert the British pound symbol and drop down to the next line. To add a paragraph border, first we display the Home tab. With the insertion point in the paragraph for the border, we click the borders arrow to display the gallery. So I'm going to insert some new text. I'm just going to say CS201. I'm going to go back to the start of this just because that's what I prefer. If I'm going to put something, if I'm going to format a paragraph, I prefer my cursor to be at the front, at the beginning of it, even if it doesn't matter. So we click this, and let's say we want a bottom border. So that'll be right here, and it'll insert this that spans all the way across it. And moving on to the next slide. To clear our formatting, this is our last one on the letterhead steps. All we have to do is find the Home tab, the Clear All button. And we've got this selected still, so we're going to come up here, and at the top right of the font section of the Home ribbon, clear all formatting. Click that, and it's gone. All right, so that was a whole lot of steps and other such things. Does anybody have any questions?
We're good.
All right, so let me check the time. We're good. Now we're going to move on to creating a business letter. Some common things you may have here. To apply a style, we've already done this, so I'm not going to spend any more time on that. It's right there in the Home tab. You can just click the style you want. To set custom tab stops. I did not know that this existed until today. And it's right here, hidden away in the top left corner. So we've got left tab, we've got center tab, and all of this is just your tab options. And the way you cycle through these is just to click decimal tab, bar tab, and your first line tab. And that allows you to set things with the ruler here and have a little bit more control. But like I said, I didn't know it existed, and I've been using Word since, well, I've been using it at least for one decent-sized project a year since 2011. So actually 2009 if you count high school too. So I'm not sure how much use you're going to get out of it outside of the SAM projects. So inserting the current date into a document, display the Insert tab, click the Insert Date and Time button for that dialog box. So let's go and do that. I'm going to drop down one line, Insert, and we look for date and time. Make sure I don't accidentally skip over it or that the alt text doesn't hide it from my view. Here it is, date and time. It brings up the dialog box And you have some options. You can do 2, 3, 21. This is my preferred way to do dates, but you may have to do it differently for your classes, whatever is preferred, or for whatever your work prefers. Just for the most verbose option, let's go with Wednesday, February 3rd, 2021, all written out. You have this checkbox here that automatically updates the date to the current date. And we're going to leave that checked just for the fun of it. I'm going to click OK. And it's displayed here. And when you hover your mouse over it, you'll see that it has a faint gray highlight. And that lets you know that that is an inserted item. So we're going to move on. Inserting an empty table, odds are good you're going to have to do this quite a bit. So that is, again, very quick and simple. We have this table button here. Click this, and you're presented with this grid of squares. And this is how you can count your rows and columns. Remember, when you're doing your tables, to create an extra row and column for headings. So say you have 3x3 data, 3x3 information, like you would want to actually do a 4x4 so that you have your headings and your top left, which oftentimes you may find is just a blank space up in the corner, or you may be able to find a use for it. But once you've selected it, you can click that and it creates your table. And usually we'll try to fit it to the width of the page, pushing it up against the edge of the margins. Entering data into a table is as simple as clicking in one of the cells. That's what we call the rectangles, the entry slots in your table. Whatever you want to refer to them as. Word calls them cells because Excel calls them cells too. And once you've entered data for one, you can press the Tab key to advance to the next one. So I'm not going to go over that. I'm not going to show it. It's just as simple as write some text, press Tab, write some text, press Tab. Just I think it goes across the rows and then goes down to the next column, like it reads left to right. But just before you get into too much of a fast rhythm, just watch and make sure where your cursor is going. Make sure you know where it is so you don't accidentally put your table data in backwards. Applying table styles. Again, it's the same process as applying styles anywhere else. You just put your mouse cursors in any one of these cells. And we have this styles gallery here. Let's click more to bring down all of the options that we have. And let's just go with this one here. Give us a nice thick border between the top level, where we will have our vertical headings, and nice thin lines in between everything else. To select a column, this only says how to select a column, but I'm going to show you how to select a row as well. So all you have to do is place your mouse cursor. It's a little precise. Place your pointer here where you'll get this little down arrow and just click. And every row or every cell in that column will automatically be selected and you'll be presented with your shortcut bar. To do a row instead of a column, this is similar to selecting a line in a paragraph or anywhere else in Word. You just come out here to the outside of the margin where your mouse pointer will point the other direction and just click here and it's selected this entire row. Alternatively, what does this do? Oh, that just selects the individual one. You can also resize. I don't think the lectures cover that, but if you place your cursor over these vertical lines dividing your cells, you can drag them over to resize. And that can help you, just if you need to fit your table to a smaller area, or one row requires a whole lot more space than the other, or one column requires a whole lot more space than the other, rather. You can just easily do that. You can also do that vertically. It works the same way. Just grab one of the horizontal dividers and drag your mouse. Inserting a row. Very quick and easy. We're in the bottom row here. So it's probably going to tell you to go into the ribbon. You can do the same thing here by going to insert, but to do it in the ribbon, we're still in the table options. Is it in here or is it in the other? Yeah, I want to say it's in this, is in layout. I could be wrong. Yeah, okay, so here in the layout, we have rows and columns. You can insert a new row above your current position, or below. You can insert a column to the left or to the right. We're going to insert one above, and the new column will be, or the new row, whichever one, will be highlighted so that you know, okay, this is what you have inserted. Let's just go back to where we were. To bullet a list as you type. Another shortcut that I wasn't aware of, that's a bit handy, is let's click outside of our table here. And instead of going to the Home tab, looking for the bulleted list button and clicking that, type an asterisk and press space, and it'll automatically create one for you. So let's just do some random things in here. So 1, 2, that properly, 3. And going down to the next bullet in the list is as simple as clicking enter, or pressing enter rather, and it will drop down a new bullet point for you to enter. If you are done with your bullets, then you can click enter. I don't know why I keep saying click enter. You get the point. Once, you go down to the next line, and again to drop out of your bulleted list. Inserting a page break. You had to do this in the last lab. It's just go to the insert tab and page break is on the left. To add and format a paragraph border, we want to select the paragraph to add a border to. Click the borders arrow to display the borders gallery, and we'll be presented with a number of options. So let's pick something. Let's just do this one here. We hit this to open that, and we can come down to borders and shading. Let me make sure I try to remember the instructions correctly so I don't confuse you guys. Borders arrow to display the borders arrow. Yes. Okay. Just wanting to be absolutely sure I'm not about to give you an alternative way to do this that Sam doesn't like. So the arrow on the borders button here in the Home tab, select borders and shading, and we have been here before. We're going to go into a little bit more detail. You have your setting. Let's go with shadow. We'll keep it as a solid line for our style. And you can come down here to choose your color. Let's go with this, just to pick something. And as far as size goes, we can make it unnecessarily thick. We click OK, and we have a giant ugly border with a shadow over CS201. I'm just gonna undo that. So yeah, now you know how to do that. Generally, you're not going to want a border that thick. Just, a 1 pixel border or something thin, like what you did in previous SAM projects. Changing your underline style. So you notice, I've still got CS201 selected. So you notice here to the right of the underline button, you have a drop down arrow. You can actually select how you want your underline to look. And so let's go with this more ... dash type underline. And it'll drop that down for you really quickly. And that's all that this wants you to do. And now we're going to talk about the format painter. This is a tool that I don't get a whole lot of use out of, but you may find a lot of you may get a lot of mileage out of it if your document or your form or whatever you're making in Word happens to call for a lot of really specifically placed formatting. So we select the text that contains the formatting you want to copy, and then click the Format Painter button. Move the pointer to where you want to copy the formatting, and notice that the Format Painter is active. Select the text that should have the same underline format to paste the I didn't notice that typo. To paste the copied format to the selected text. And then it's got some other steps. I'm not sure what those are for, but we have our selected text that has our underline, and we just click the Format Painter. And when you have the Format Painter active, you have this little paintbrush icon next to it. So what we want to do is click and drag, and now we have our underline on our pound symbol. And now it wants us to press the End key, which is just above the up arrow if you're using a desktop keyboard. It wants us to press the Enter key twice. Make sure I've read that right. Press Enter, position the cursor at the end of the line, and then press Enter, to place the insertion point 2 lines below the last line of text on the page. We are not actually creating a letterhead. I'm just using this document to demonstrate these little features. So it's probably not going exactly the way that Cengage expects, but when you start doing your SAM exam, it's going to come together a lot better. So now we're going to get to Smart Art. And this is a powerful tool that lets you insert some more decorative elements into your document, things that might get people's attention a little bit more. Instead of a table that displays an itinerary, you might have this really nice colorful list, just something to look a little bit more informal, a little bit more welcoming. So with the insert point on the blank paragraph, click on the center button. We want it to be in the center just so that it lines up a bit nicer. Display the Insert tab, and click the Smart Art button to choose a Smart Art graphic. So we need to center our text. We've done that before. I'm not going to go over it again. We come in here to Insert, and we have Smart Art. And inside Smart Art, you have a ton of options to choose from. We are going to narrow our settings down to List, and we're going to use this grouped list here. And here's a preview of it for you. You see you've got the large bubbles that mark your groups, and then you've got the smaller bubbles for each entry. So once you've made your selection, we click enter, and it's entered here, and we can start entering text. It gives us this nice set of line entries so that we don't have to click around inside of this. You can, but if you would rather, you can just use this bulleted list that represents your smart art. And let's just do something random. Let's talk about, or put in types of food just for the demonstration. We have fruits, we have apples, bananas, it's a and for the last one, we can do meats and call it beef and chicken. When we come over here, we can see how everything has been organized for us. And like I said, again, if you would rather click in these and know exactly where you're putting your cursor and what you're entering, you can do that. That's definitely an option. But the little bulleted list on the left is much more convenient and quick. And so if you want to delete shapes from the graphic, you want to click on one of the edges of the shapes that says the word text or whatever you've entered in the rightmost group of the Smart Art graphic to select it and press the delete key. So we come over to the rightmost, and I want to get rid of all those lines. Let me try clicking out of this. This can be a little bit precise. And okay, so we have selected just this one, and we press the delete key, and it's gone, and now all we have is beef. When you have to click on edges, don't get in a hurry because they can be really precise and it's very easy to make mistakes. Adding text to shapes in the Smart Art gallery, click the top left shape to select it, and then type the desired text to replace the placeholder text with the entered text. And like I said, I've already showed you how that works. You can just use the bulleted list, or you can click inside the box. Whoops, sorry. I need to jerk my mouse around like that. To add a shape to a Smart Art group, click the Smart Art Tool Design on the ribbon to display the Smart Art Tools Design tab. Click the Add Shape button to add a shape to the Smart Art graphic. And depending on how you are positioned, if say you're positioned in the full image and you click this, it'll insert a new group. Whereas if you have only selected, say, meats, we have our design tool here, and we can add a shape. Whoops, it has done that. Let me try. So yeah, again, don't get in a hurry. This is me. This is my mistake. Let's insert here. Yeah. So what instead you want to do is click the type of shape that you want to insert in, and then we can come over here and replace chicken. Changing colors of a Smart Art graphic. You may have seen it. So what we want to do is we want to click the whole Smart Art image, and kind of semi-hidden in plain sight between the layout and Smart Art Styles section, we have our colors, and you have a few presets that you can choose from. Let's go with this. And it's as simple as that. So moving on to the next one, Smart Art Styles. I already showed that. It is exactly the same as what we've done for tables, paragraphs, images. You just come over here to the style gallery. If you want more, you can click this. And we're just going to go with one of these 3D looking ones. I like that. Let's go with that. We have these nice rubbery, look like cushion type of shapes. Resizing the Smart Art graphic. We want to, it says to display both pages on the screen at once by displaying the View tab and then clicking on the multiple pages button. We don't need to do that for our purposes, but you may need to. Click the outer edge of the Smart Art graphic to select the entire graphic and then drag the edge until the desired size is achieved. And so what it's referring to, let's click the whole, thank you. Click the whole thing and you've got these edges going all the way around it. I know that underline is there. I didn't mean to have that there. I should have deselected the underline. Let me do that really quick. Oh, that's italic. And my 5-minute warning is going off. So let's be really quickly going through the rest of this. Sure, yeah. All right, so enhancing accessibility, excuse me. We want to come to the Review tab. And we have this button, Check Accessibility. We'll bring that down, and we click this. It'll bring up something similar to spell check, which will give us some errors, missing some alternative text, and image or object not in line. We're not going to worry about this one right now, but to fix these, we're missing alt text. Make your document more accessible. Got it. I know how this works. I've already used it. So we have this selected. Whoa, hi. And I have difficulty getting this to appear correctly. So let's try clicking in the open space here. Yeah. And you select Edit Alt Text, and then this is going to come up on the right, where you can enter some descriptive text for people who use screen readers. And when they hover their mouse over, it's going to say that alt text that you've entered. So ours is types of food. And when you're done, you can just close this and close that. And I have 4 minutes to go over the last little bits. This, I think, is the last slide. So yes, we're good. To address and print envelopes, drag through the inside address to select. I don't have one on this document. You'll see it, I believe, in your SAM project. Display the Mailings tab. Click the Envelopes button to display the Envelopes and Labels dialog box. If necessary, click the Envelopes tab. Type in the desired address, insert an envelope into your printer, and click the Print button, yada, yada. You're probably not going to be doing that in this class. You might if this were in person, I don't know, but we're going to ignore that part for now. So let's just go straight into mailings. An envelope is way over here on the far left. It's going to bring up this dialog box here. The first time I did it, it took a little bit of time for it to come up. So just be patient and it'll be all right. So you click here and you know that you've got this selected when it grays out. Excuse me for just a second. And so let's enter an address. So let's say 700 Pelham Road North. Here's the address for JSU. went down, so. And your return address, you would enter that here. And when you're done, you've got everything the way that you want it. That's when you would put in an envelope and press the print button. We're just going to cancel.